What the fuck, Canada? The Canadian economy is on life support, that we know already. But what doesn't make sense is that our unemployment rate actually dropped this month. But how is that possible if we've lost 25,000 jobs this month? It's actually way worse than that because we've lost nearly 250,000 jobs since December 2025. So the reason is because nearly 100,000 people just gave up. 94,000 people decided that finding work was just unfeasible and they just gave up. So they don't count anymore in the unemployment statistic. So knowing this, the government's gonna go into the House of Commons and tap themselves on the back saying unemployment rate is down, but again, they're gaslighting you. It's only down because people are giving up trying to find work. That's how bad things are. Actually, it's even worse than that. It gets way worse. Because right now, only 60.8% of people over the age of 15 are currently employed in Canada. That number is astronomically low. So don't let them gaslight you. What you see with your own eyes is true. Shit's bad. Stop letting them telling you they ain't.
So guys, this is massive and breaking news. I told you this was going to happen. The unemployment numbers or employment numbers just came out for Canada for January, and it's exactly like I told you. Even though they were trying to sell you on the fact that we had all these job gains, even though they were all part-time and the majority of them were in Alberta, nearly 100,000 people, 94,000 people to be exact, have given up looking for work. Check this out. So Canada's employment rate fell by 24,800. That's how many job losses there were. But there's something more hidden to the title, where it says the jobless rate is down 6.5%. You see, private sector employment gains are the ones that I think are the most important when you measure employment. Ones that are not sponsored by the government or employed by the government. That number fell by 52,000. And the number of public sector employees saw very little change. Employment fell by 67,000 in Ontario. In Alberta, again, posted job gains of 20,000. And here's the key. While the unemployment rate fell, the number of unemployed people decreased sharply only because the number of people searching for work fell. That means nearly 100,000 people have given up looking for full-time work or work in general. Look back at my old videos. I did it last month, I did it the month before, and I warned everyone. I said the government, I think, is cooking the books. They're trying to paint this picture like we have all these job gains, even though they were all part-time. They tried telling us it was seasonally adjusted. I warned you all. I didn't believe it for a second. I said, wait until January. Wait until January, wait until the new year, and then we're going to start seeing Armageddon. This is what it starts to look like when the truth starts coming out. 100,000 people have literally given up looking for work. Do you guys remember when I made that video and I said Doug Ford is going to be closing down legislature for about 3 months because he doesn't want to be dealing with this in the new year? January, February, March, the job losses are going to be astronomical, and he doesn't want to talk about it. Well, here you go. I warned you, I told you, I knew it was going to happen, and I promise you, wait until February, wait until March. The key fundamental issue is that we do not have a trade deal with the US. Carney is going all around the world trying to make deals with everyone except for our number one trading partner. Carney promised us a deal, we do not have one, and things are going to get worse.
Alright guys, welcome back once again to the channel. I hope you're having a great time wherever you are watching this episode from. And in today's episode, these numbers are not good. This is not pretty at all. Canadian job market is literally cooked. It is getting out of hands and it is actually on life support. Employers are not hiring Canadians. Canadians are looking for jobs. Years, weeks, months. They are having sleepless nights, writing CVs, spending their time from company to company to companies. But somehow they are not getting hired. No one is hiring Canadian anymore. And it has reached a point where Canadians are saying, well, we've tried looking for these jobs and somehow we are not getting employed. We are finally fed up. And apparently Canadians have given up on looking or searching for these jobs. And somehow the government is using that to try and convince other Canadians that, well, we are working so hard and unemployment is literally reducing or decreasing. But the reality of the matters is these numbers are so alarming and Canadians have given up looking for these jobs. Let's watch what Canadians have to say about these numbers, then we shall be commenting or talking about it.
So we just lost a whole bunch of jobs again, and of course, somehow the unemployment rate fell. Canada lost 25,000 jobs. Unemployment rate falls as job seekers drop. So apparently to be considered unemployed, you have to meet a certain criteria. There's like a couple things that you have to be actively looking for a job. You have to do this, that, and the other, and then you are considered unemployed. But if you've been unemployed for so long that you've just entirely given up on finding a job, well, now you're no longer unemployed. You're just somebody who doesn't have a job. Like if I just made $10 million shorting Bitcoin and just decided to stop working because I didn't have to anymore, I would be unemployed. But I guess at a certain point, you can't really call me unemployed anymore. Maybe I'm, an investor. But anyways, unemployment fell because even though we lost jobs, for all of the jobs we lost, there's more people who are already unemployed that are now not meeting the definition of being unemployed. I talk to a lot of people in construction because I'm from that background. A lot of my friends are still, in that space. And a lot of the conversations I'm having with people is, oh yeah, we got this one job we're working on, but after this, we don't know what's going to happen after this. Or, yeah, we just did a round of layoffs. We laid off 50 people. We laid off this. I had to lay off, a guy who's been working for 10, 15 years. But anyways, from what I'm hearing and what this chart says is that the real unemployment rate isn't 6.5%. It's actually 9.2%.
Here goes the fake news trying to downplay everything, especially one of the biggest news stories of the week. The Canadian employment landscape was mixed bag in January, with the economy losing 25,000 jobs, but the unemployment rate cooling at a 6.5%. Jobless rate, its lowest since September 2024, was the result of fewer people actively searching for work, according to the data agency. Yo, I have been saying this for time. All of these numbers are all just fluffed up. Don't believe a thing, because people have been giving up on looking for work. So once they've given up, these numbers start to look better. Don't believe it. So the HR reporter writes, the weakness in January was concentrated among core-aged women. Employment for women aged 25 to 54 fell by 27,000. In total, 12.4 million Canadians aged 15 and over were not participating in the labor force in January, neither employed nor looking for work, up 2.7% from a year earlier. Discouraged job seekers, people who say they're not looking for work because they believe there is none that's suitable for them. Then you write this. The labor force participation rate declined 65%, but there is also year-over-year rise in the number of people who were neither employed nor looking for work in January. How could you possibly contradict yourself like that? Manufacturing drove the majority of job losses, another hit to a sector that has been battered by U.S. tariffs over the last 10 months. Educational services and public administration also saw a decline in employment. Well, maybe we should work with the U.S. and try to get these tariffs gone instead of working with their biggest adversary, China. Is this bad news, drop in employment with notable weaknesses in manufacturing? Or is this good news, bigger drop in unemployment rate with the rise of hours worked? Clearly, the answer is both. Though leaning towards bad, when I'm reading this, I don't even know what they're saying. Can you guys explain that shit to me? What I do know, though, is when I look at this graph, the Liberals are clearly doing nothing to ease the unemployment rate. It doesn't matter what the media says. But this isn't the media. This is fake. So much for government cuts, right? Right? The private sector is the backbone of every society. And I hate that they actually call it the private sector because it's kind of like a weird name to it. It's not just big businesses like Loblaws or Walmart. It's your local gyms, your local restaurants, bars, cafes. That is what those are the people that are losing all the jobs. It's not the big governments because it's that's what makes community, When it comes to government, they just want to take over. When the majority of job losses are in the private sector and the public sector doesn't see any changes, what little changes, don't believe a word the media is telling you. Employment fell by 67,000 in Ontario, with job losses in manufacturing largely concentrated in the provinces. Meanwhile, Alberta gained 20,000 jobs, Saskatchewan gained 6,100 jobs, and Newfoundland and Labrador gained 3,800 jobs. Bro, this Alberta succession is starting to sound better and better by the day. The result? We doubt that this will have any impact on the Bank of Canada, and it doesn't change our views that the interest rate will be based on and will remain for the rest of the year. They're basically saying, I don't know about y'all, but we're good. You guys figure that out.
Anybody who understands basic math, i.e. all of us, understand that this headline couldn't possibly be true. How could we have lost 25,000 jobs in January, but unemployment is down to 6.5%? How do we lose jobs, but unemployment goes down? I mean, you see things like the lowest unemployment rate in 2 years, and you start to get really excited. You start to believe that the Carney government is doing a great job. You start to wonder if maybe the tariffs aren't having the anticipated result that Trump is hoping for. You are hoping that all of those people that you see making TikToks talking about how they've been looking for a job for 2 years now have a job. And then you read on and you realize, no. They just changed the numbers. They just decided that less people are looking for jobs. More people have given up. Therefore, unemployment is down. Yay! The labor force participation rate declined to 65%. That means that 65% of people who are of working age are working for whatever reason. But there was also a year-over-year rise in the number of people who were neither unemployed nor looking for work. So people have given up. People have realized that they're never going to get a job and they've just given up. And that looks great for the government because unemployment is down. Yay! I will say one positive, which is part-time employment is down and full-time employment is up. So that is positive. People who were looking for full-time employment have found it. But here's another statistic that is in that news article. The majority of unemployed people are women between the ages of 19 and 50. Women are the majority of the unemployed people. But by moving the goalpost, by changing the parameters of which they're gathering the data, they can make it look really good. They can put it on their balance sheet and say how strong the Canadian economy is for, investment. When really, the workers down here, we're suffering. How are you doing? How are your friends doing? How is your cost of living? Is it as positive as that news article headline would lead you to believe? Is it as good as it could be? I remind you that we are the workers and we are the consumers and we are the economy. How are you doing? Do you feel like unemployment is down? Do you feel like you should be celebrating this amazing statistic? Or do you feel like the number crunchers are crunching things in a way to make them look good and us continue to suffer? We run the economy. We are the workers. We are the consumers. We have the power. Eat the rich. Have a great day.
Canada's job market is sending mixed messages. Here's what they said. Some bad news is that there was a drop in employment with notable weakness in manufacturing. But the good news is that there was another drop in the unemployment rate and a rise in hours worked. Employment fell by 67,000 in Ontario, but meanwhile Alberta gained 20,000 jobs and Saskatchewan gained 6,100 jobs. As you can see here, manufacturing did shed the most jobs, reflecting strain from U.S. tariffs, and while job losses were offset by a dip in the unemployment rate to 6.5% compared to 6.8% back in December. As you can see here on the graph, jobs in manufacturing and educational services had the steepest declines, while utilities, retail, and healthcare were trending to the positive side. And as you can see here from the graph, since 2023, the unemployment rate went all the way from 5% to 7%, but since the last 6 months has come down. So what do you guys think? Will the economy keep gaining jobs or keep losing momentum in the near future? Let me know down below.
Canada's unemployment rate is down in January's jobs report. but not for a good reason. In total, 25,000 jobs were lost in January, with manufacturing in Ontario being hit the hardest. So if we lost jobs, how did unemployment go down? It's because the unemployment rate only tracks people who are actively looking for work. Retired people, for example, aren't included. So what this means is that enough people stopped looking for work entirely to make the unemployment rate go down. And we're seeing this happen across all demographics. So despite having some good job numbers at the end of last year, January is off to a bit of a rocky start. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments.
So guys, as you can see, the reality of the matter is things are not pretty at all. And these numbers are so very alarming. And another reality is that the government only depends on statistics. Even if today they decided, you know what, let's just not depend on statistics and go to somewhere like Ontario and ask how many Canadians are unemployed, then the reality of the matter is these numbers could be even more higher, because recent conversations or videos that I've had about Canadians on the comment section, most of them have been telling us that they've been struggling to get jobs in Canada. Others are even saying, I've been looking in job in Canada for the last 2 years. I haven't slept for the past 1 week, only for me sending CVs, applying for these jobs with no response. But now, here is what even hits more. Canadians are not being employed because it's not because they don't have skills. These people are well educated. They have the skills. But now we have a monster in Canada that is literally destroying the job market called the Temporary Foreign Workers Program. Personally, I believe this is another core source that literally makes this number skyrocket this way. Employers in Canada prefer or choose to hire immigrants, temporary foreign workers, international students, and Indians, and whoever they want to hire in exchange of the subsidized wages. They pay them low wages in sacrifice of Canadians. So Canadians can't get job because jobs are not there. No, jobs are there in Canada. But now employers prefer to hire temporary foreign workers. They prefer to hire immigrants and international students because they think somehow Canadians are too expensive to hire. Or let's say they can't afford to hire Canadians because when they hire these temporary foreign workers, they will pay them less the amount they could have paid Canadians. And again, we have too many immigrants nowadays in Canada. And when these immigrants come to Canada, they aren't coming to joke. Most of them, they are from their very poor countries. And when they come to Canada, they have a mission. And mission is looking for greener pastures. When they go and to apply for a job, and let's say maybe that job roughly pays $20 an hour, and then the employer says, well, are you willing to work for the same job that I pay a Canadian $20, I'll pay you $12 per hour. This person, instead of just sitting in the house and he's in that country looking for greener pastures, will consider taking this job. And this creates a trend, a recurring trend that, well, instead of me hiring these expensive Canadians, let me just hire these temporary foreign workers. Back in their mind, they know that. That is why you see Canadians are looking for these jobs countless and countless of times, months, years, weeks, for days, sleepless nights. They're looking for these jobs. And now they're somehow tired. They are fed up. They're saying enough is enough. If we perish, we perish. We are no longer looking for these jobs. They are suffering in their own country, and somehow their government is telling them, well, you are not looking for jobs. Unemployment is actually decreasing. It doesn't even make sense. And these numbers are so alarming. That is why Canadians are saying the unemployment crisis in Canada is on life support, is at risk. It's getting out of hands. It's getting worse every day. And things are not pretty at all. They are not hiring Canadians. And Canadians have now given up in their own country. This is not good, guys. Tell me what you think about this unemployment crisis. And what do you think about the comments or the commentaries you've just seen? Tell me in the comment section your thoughts on this one, and see you in the next.